Buckle up, America, because what you're about to hear isn't just another headline. It's the shocking truth of how petty egos, outrageous policies, and a thirst for revenge are sending millions of Americans into chaos while those in power throw themselves a celebration. Once again, J.D. Vance has proven that while he may not excel at helping ordinary Americans, he's a master at stirring up scandal, and his latest move is a jaw-dropper. Vance exploded social media by sharing a damning message, allegedly from a Republican congressman, confessing that he decided to support Trump's bill just because he didn't like the way Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke on the House floor. That's right, the future of millions of Americans' health care determined by a politician's personal dislike for someone else's speaking style. And Vance bragged about it. This madness began when Jeffries delivered a blistering speech on the House floor, warning that the Republican-led bill would strip health care from millions, shutter hospitals and nursing homes, and leave vulnerable Americans without the care they need to live with dignity. Jeffries thundered that tens of thousands could die year after year if this all-out Republican assault succeeds, calling the House chamber a crime scene for what he called a deliberate political decision with deadly consequences. His words weren't just dramatic, they were a dire wake-up call. But instead of engaging with the substance of his arguments, Republicans attacked Jeffries' gestures, mocking whether he was rapping or using sign language. This wasn't a policy debate, it was a racially charged sideshow designed to distract from the harsh reality, a bill that punishes the poor, rewards the rich, and leaves millions desperate. Then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stepped in and laid out the cold, brutal facts. 17 million Americans will lose their health care under this bill. She exposed how the so-called tip tax cut was a scam, a bait-and-switch trick promising minor tax breaks for low-income workers while slashing SNAP, Medicaid, and ACA subsidies. She asked the burning question, is losing your health care and ability to feed your kids worth a tiny tax break dangled like a poison candy? Her answer was devastating. This bill isn't a reform, it's a deal with the devil, and Trump is at the helm. So why the desperate rush to ram this cruel legislation through Congress? Simple, Donald Trump's fragile ego. After the embarrassment of his failed birthday parade, he needed a quick win to brag about at his July 4th party. Never mind the human cost, what mattered was giving Trump a cheap victory lap. Republican lawmakers, meanwhile, were expected to close their eyes, plug their ears, and vote like cult members obeying their leader. This isn't governance, it's a twisted performance staged on the backs of America's most vulnerable. And that's not the end of the horror show. J.D. Vance, who once called Trump the death of America, now clings to him like a lifeline. Vance has embraced tariffs, they're already wreaking havoc. Trump's plan to jack Chinese import tariffs above 50% sounds tough, but it's economic suicide. It means shoes, clothes, and basic goods Americans buy every day could double or triple in price. Your $25 t-shirt could soon cost more than a fancy dinner. And who pays the price? American families, not the billionaires Trump claims he's fighting. The White House's trade policies are a ticking time bomb. Already, 50% of Nike's U.S.-bound shoes are made in Vietnam, but those could face crushing new tariffs. Stores will struggle to restock, prices will soar, and families will suffer. J.D. Vance may boast that growth is freedom, but the reality is that freedom doesn't mean paying $100 for a pair of socks. Meanwhile, as Trump dreams of America respected again, the world sees chaos. Viral videos circulating in China show AI-generated images of Trump and Elon Musk sewing sneakers in sweatshops, mocking U.S.-China trade tensions. The global stage is laughing, not fearing or respecting America. Trump's promises are unraveling faster than a knockoff handbag in a discount store. While Trump's team pretends everything's fine, real economic indicators paint a bleak picture. Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, warned of stagflation, a nightmare scenario of rising prices, slowing growth, and rising unemployment. Although unemployment hasn't spiked yet, Powell made it clear, tariffs will choke growth and pour fuel on inflation. The verdict is already coming in from the markets. This is a disaster in slow motion. But Vance keeps spinning tales. He celebrates hollow slogans instead of real solutions. He yells victory of freedom, while Americans stand in grocery aisles, stunned by bills bigger than their rent. Where's the freedom in paying triple for eggs and diapers? This is a policy train wreck with American families trapped on board. And if you think the clown show ends there, think again. Trump's latest stunt? Threatening to strip Harvard of its tax-exempt status because he doesn't like what they're saying. His rant directly violates federal law prohibiting presidential interference in IRS investigations, a crime that could land him in prison. But for Trump, laws are props in his political circus. While he boasts that gas prices are magically down to $1.98 and groceries are cheap, the real data shows an economy gasping for air. GDP growth has stalled. Ports are empty because businesses canceled orders amid tariff panic. Containers sit idle in Boston and Los Angeles, a haunting symbol of supply chains in chaos. Japan, America's longtime ally, now threatens to use its massive U.S. Treasury holdings as leverage in trade talks. That's a flashing neon sign that trust in America's economic stability is eroding. And as if that weren't enough, tourism from China and Japan has crashed, gutting restaurants, hotels, and entertainment venues, all while J.D. Vance insists everything's wonderful. This isn't America rising to new heights of respect. It's America falling victim to self-inflicted wounds, all so one man can brag at a party. And every time J.D. Vance steps up to defend the indefensible, he digs a deeper hole. His blind loyalty to Trump isn't just pathetic, it's dangerous. This is not the greatness Trump promised. It's a toxic brew of cruelty, incompetence, and economic sabotage. Millions of Americans face a future without health care, with skyrocketing prices, and with fewer opportunities, all because our leaders care more about petty revenge and personal glory than the people they were elected to serve. So the next time you hear J.D. Vance or Donald Trump bragging about wins, remember who's really paying the price. It's not the billionaires. It's the millions of Americans left holding the bill for a celebration they were never invited to.